The Silk Report.
As smooth as silk.
Bom dia, boa noche, buenas tardes, as they say in Portuguese. But there are no Portuguese or Brazilian players that really spring to mind today. The first one is a Polish player. You may have heard of her, Iga Swiatek. She won comfortably. It's kind of not a surprise. But what is not a surprise exactly, but just the insane manner of which she's just hitting her spots non-stop. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Was Risk poor or was Swiatek amazing? I think probably a little bit more of the latter. I mean, it was a kind of a bit of a pity. Hi, Kathy. Nice to have you on board. Was a bit of a pity, and I felt a bit sad for Risk because she was going from one side to the next and she was running. I'd love to see some stats on how far she ran today in comparison to the pole. But and there would be screams of just getting to the ball and then getting it back. Unbelievable defense at times before eventually the ball would end up whistling past her. And you would just, as the ball whistled past her, you just hear the stomp of her feet. Boom, boom, boom. Of done again. And 6-love was the first set. Swiatek quickly raced into a 3-love lead in the second set. And the roars of cheer when Risk finally got a game on the board and eventually she got 2 were, I don't know, they were good, but they were also a little awkward perhaps as well. Let me know about the French Open crowd, how you think they've been. I mean, there were some interesting moments as well during the Cilic Fucsovics match today as well, where lots of crowd chanting, and I think Fucsovics got a bit annoyed sometimes at the chanting, even some of the chanting in favor of him. Tsitsipas as well, that match that he had was with was it Kolo, I think. Lots of sort of football nature, and listen, I'm all for it, but let me know how you feel in the live chat, whether you agree or disagree with that. But anyway, coming back to Swiatek and her win today, keeping it simple day by day, she says, or as she says in Polish, skupienie na pracy, dzień za dniem. Let me know if my pronunciation is, maybe I've got a bit of a Gdansk accent there. I don't know. But let me know what you think. Talking to the live chat, let's come to it now. Let's have a quick look to see if there's anything that's caught my eye in the first few minutes. No one will stop her from winning Roland Garros this year with Halep and Ostapenko out. I think you're right. She's obviously red-hot favourite, and there's nothing the first 2 rounds have suggested otherwise. But I never really thought Halep was in contention. Absolutely not. Ostapenko, no, not for me either. I'm not really sure who would be a contender, given that sort of at a hard court tournament, I think it would be very different. But there's no one really. Sakkari obviously has got a bit of pedigree on clay, but she's gone. And I still think Swiatek's record against her is insanely comfortable. So I don't know. Let me know. I think Muchova is a threat. Well, of course, Muchova is the person who knocked Sakkari out. So maybe. Of course, they're in different halves of the draw, so perhaps Muchova will be her opponent in the final. I mean, she played amazingly against Sakkari, but I don't know. I don't see anybody living with Swiatek right now on any surface, but least of all clay. And like I say, she's just playing so aggressively. And so, I know it's kind of obvious, but with so much confidence that I guess you would expect after 30 victories in a row. Talking of which, if we look at some of the stats that she's got, she served up her 15th bagel of 2022. I mean, some barely get 15 in their career, but she's got 15 in the first 5 months of the year. But this, I think, is the standout stat for me. She's only the 4th player this century. So, okay, this century is only 22 years old, but still, to win 30 plus consecutive matches after her win over Risk today. I'm presuming that's the women's side only, given it's a tweet from the WTA, but whichever way you look at it, it's mightily impressive. Talking of mightily impressive, you guys are pretty impressive too. Let's see what you've got to say. Anything exciting? Iga's success is demoralizing, focused on the job day by day. Yeah. She said that in English. Although Tomasz, what I'm interested in is my pronunciation of the Polish expression there. It sounded good to me, but who knows? Also, Tomasz, let me know where you're from. I'm guessing you're Polish, but let me know even then which city as well. Kathy also using a similar expression there about demoralizing. Amin, they're going really off topic. Do I like Ali G? Yes, I do. But thanks for that. Jared, yay! You're catching the Silk Report live. Jared, where are you watching from? And what time is it where you are? All of you actually let me know where you're watching from. Let me know the time is. Also let me know what you think about the women's side, if you like, or the women's tournament. Do you think has anybody got a chance? I like the Mukova shout, but I still don't see her posing too much of a threat to Swiatek. Of course, last year's two finalists are not going to make it because Pavlyuchenkova didn't make it through injury. Unfortunately, she's out for the whole year, sadly, already. And Krejcikova, of course, went out in the first round. Jared, lowest amount of games lost en route to a French Open win is Steffi Graf with 20 games lost. Will Iga break that record? Possibly. That's probably far more in doubt. I think if you said to me what the chances of her winning the French Open, I'd put it at about 80% chance of her winning the tournament. The chances of her breaking that record, I guess, are about 40%, maybe even slightly lower. So I'd say no. But how many games has she lost so far? I actually couldn't tell you. I'm guessing around about 2 a round. So I'm guessing she's lost. Yeah, she's losing about 2 a round, and therefore I'm figuring that she'll also lose a few more games as the tournament progresses. And therefore, let's say an average of 3 a round, probably, which then brings you to that 21 figure after 7 victories. But listen, most important for Iga will be obviously just winning the tournament. Anyway, we've got some people here saying what time it is where they are and also where they are. Joseph is in Australia, where it is 8:30 a.m. Jared, let me know where you are. Damario there, by the way, Iga lately said that Robert Lewandowski is a good role model to follow when it comes to staying on top of your game for years. Well, talking of role models as well, she's quite keen, I think, to pair up with Rafa. She mentioned in her press conference she'd love to play doubles. She was asked if she'd like to play doubles with him, and she bit it at it just like she would through a bagel with which she serves up to most of her opponents. Cool. Anything else? Can Maddie Keys beat Iga during a very hot and dry and clay day? Probably not. Maybe Zheng has a chance. Well, I'm glad you mentioned Zheng, because let's go to our second match of the day. Yes, she's lost 4 games so far. Thanks to GTL there. So yes, what I mean, she's losing about 2 games a round, but I expect that to increase. But as the tournament progresses to around 3 or 4, and then it'll bring her to about 20. Anyway, back to Zheng. Maybe Zheng has a chance. Well, she's certainly got a chance of going far, but I don't know if she's got a chance of beating Swiatek. But I'm glad you mentioned Zheng because, of course, because Simona Halep is out. And I want to just bring us to this tweet from 4 days ago. This is Simona Halep here talking about Mouratoglou, her coach. And I don't know if you can see the hat in the distance behind me. It's a little further away today because, to be honest with you, the chances of her being coached by this guy to a French Open title are as distant as that hat. In fact, that hat's probably a bit closer. Anyway, this is a tweet from an interview that she obviously gave just a few days ago on CNN, where she says that Mouratoglou has brought that fire back to me fast. I didn't expect that because I'm not very open to people. And it's not easy for me to trust in somebody. When I trust, I can make changes. Well, nothing really changed today because she went out reasonably early, as she has done throughout all of her tournaments this year, really. And she won the first set and was seemingly on course. But the confidence that she says she has there didn't become apparent because, yeah, she lost pretty badly, as saying the end. I mean, the second and third set were pretty comfortable for her opponent, and Yeah. What do you think? Am I being too harsh on her, or am I being too harsh on the coach? Really? Because actually, I think that's the problem. The problem is the coach. It's not her. And even Mouratoglou said the problem is me. Now we'll come into a little bit of a talk about why he's done this. I don't know, but well, I do have an idea. But anyway, this is what Mouratoglou had to say. I've always been proud of my successes with my players. Oh, like we didn't know that. But then I also have to acknowledge when I'm not doing a good enough job. The results we've had in Madrid, Rome, and Roland Garros are insufficient for someone of Simona Halep's caliber, and I take full responsibility for them. That's nice. That's nice. I don't know if he's being genuine here. I think he's probably trying to take the pressure away from Halep. I think it's quite smart. He's trying to alleviate the pressure on her, and he's trying to maintain the faith. Although he's saying it's my fault, I think these will be words that she would appreciate. She'll probably come out and say, no, it's 50-50, and then everything will be rosy again. He says that she's fully dedicated. I don't doubt that. Motivated, gives it everything on every ball. She's a champion. Her track record speaks for herself. I expect much better from myself, and I want to extend my apology to her fans who have always been so supportive. Yeah, I think with an individual sport, it's very different to a team sport. You would never hear a coach of a football team really say that. Or you might hear it, but you might hear him try to deflect from the players, but he's more likely to deflect it onto the referee or to somebody else or to something else or to some circumstances or to the associations or the federations. But here we've got Mouratoglou saying, no, it's my fault. And I think he's just trying to alleviate the pressure on her. But listen, results speak for themselves. If she turns it around and has a wonderful Wimbledon, of course, she's won the tournament in the past, then perhaps we can go back and get back on the Mouratoglou bandwagon. But until that happens, I just don't see anything. I don't see, and I find it all an unnecessary distraction. I mean, I'm watching the match, and before the match begins, everybody's talking about the coach. Everybody, and I'm thinking, come on, let's talk about the player or the players, because there's a lot more going on. And really, I think a coach can only do so much. I don't think that. What do you think in the chat? I've given the example of football or soccer, depending on where you are. I think a coach can make a huge difference. I think the coach is 90%, if you like, of the success, because if you've got a big budget, you can choose the players and so on and so forth. Of course, the players are super important at club level, but I think the coach makes a bigger difference in other sports. I think in tennis, bit of guidance, bit of help, perhaps a small improvement here and a small improvement there, a bit of confidence building on occasion as well. But ultimately, the players have to figure it out for themselves, especially once they're on the court. Whereas, of course, with a coach can do many things in football, in terms of influence during the match. Unless, of course, you're Tsitsipas's father, then, of course, that's slightly different. Well, talking of Tsitsipas, and I will come back to the live chat shortly, but Tsitsipas, another person under the stable or umbrella of Mouratoglou, he won today, and he won in 4 sets. But boy, I think it was over 4 hours, as you see here from this tweet from Roland Garros official account. Just in this, and against the world number 134. And don't get me wrong, Collar played the match of his life, arguably, today. But again, is there something amiss with Tsitsipas? I mean, we could see him in the French Open final quite easily, but it won't. Only Tsitsipas winning the tournament will make me think that he's anywhere near to back on track. And what do I mean by back on track? I mean a year ago. I mean that clay court season he had a year ago. And you might say it's quite similar to this clay court season. In terms of trophies and results, perhaps. But if I look at the 12 months of performances, Wimbledon, nothing. US Open, out to Alcaraz early. I know then he had shoulder surgery, wasn't it? He comes back for the Australian Open. I actually think his one performance in the last 12 months that's really stood out for me and gone, oh, wow, that's the Tsitsipas we know and love. And that was against Sinner in the quarterfinals in Australia. I think he did really well against Medvedev in the semis, albeit that he lost. But that's it. In 12 months since since the French Open final, where he's 2 sets to love up, to now, I don't see Tsitsipas. I'm not super concerned, but there's younger players coming through. We saw Sinner win again today, and they were on collision course for a semi-final meeting. And I know JG has Sinner in his final. I have Tsitsipas getting to the final, but purely because the side of the draw. I mean, look at his draw so far. He's playing the world number 134 in the second round. So he's pretty lucky there. And it really is pretty plain sailing until at least the semi-finals, I would say. Let me know what you think. Do you think I'm over-exaggerating the situation with Tsitsipas? Do you think he's really fine? And in fact, him winning Monte Carlo this year and in fact, his results on clay this year are pretty much the same as last. I see it differently, though, because Monte Carlo was a Monte Carlo without Nadal. Djokovic was a pale of himself. Alcaraz went out early to quarter in that tournament, and in fact, Tsitsipas also nearly went out himself, saving match points. I think it was in his semi-final. So it was far from plain sailing, and the opponents generally were much weaker. I know he played Rublev in the final and destroyed him last year, and I just don't see that form for me this year on the clay. And his performances at Roland Garros have been very similar. I mean, he said he had an attitude problem against Musetti, quite possibly 5 sets, nearly lost. Today was super close. Collar had 4 set points. He was 6-2 up in that tiebreak and really should have forced a 5th, and it was looking nervy. Anyway, Tsitsipas prevails. He's still in. And yeah, let's go to the live chat because it's been a while since I addressed any of your thoughts there. Son of Robin, got a feeling that Holger Rune is going to knock Tsitsipas out. Maybe, because I think that's a level where we are now talking about somebody a bit more difficult, for sure. And that's his first. I mean, I think Musetti was a tough first round, to be fair. Super easy second round, but I mean, his half of the draw in general. I see Hubie kicking Tsitsi out. Maybe, but this is not Hurkacz's best surface, if you ask me. Kathy there, hell of a score last 3 sets. Yeah, I know. And the atmosphere was great. I'm really enjoying the atmosphere at the French Open. Tell me what you think in the chat, whether you think the same. Monte Carlo was a BTEC tournament this year. Yeah, exactly. That's my point, Sam. I think Tsitsipas is overall not as stable as we would want him to be, but he's stable enough to reach the finals. And on a good day, he can beat Alcaraz. Yeah. I think we need more than a good day. We need Tsitsipas playing his absolute best tennis, and you need those particularly Nadal and Djokovic to not be quite at it. Kind of how the Barcelona final was, if you like, between Nadal and Tsitsipas last year, but Nadal still won. Tsitsipas was playing out of his skin that day, and he was playing out of his skin on clay throughout that period, if you like. Nadal was slightly off it, but still prevailed, and I think that says a lot. Will Mouratoglou be coaching Serena, both Serena and Halep at Wimbledon? Almost certainly not. I think the Serena project is done, and he's put all his eggs in the Halep basket. I'm pretty sure of that. The Patrick report. Yeah, today and other days. Well, to be honest with you, we won't be talking about it much more because these players keep going out, and they keep going out early. Simone was quite unwell. Yeah, I think we should mention that. Actually, sorry, I had forgotten that. She had a panic attack, unfortunately, during the 3rd set, and I think that did affect her largely, and that's a pity. And I think, like some other players in recent months and years, she has had some breaks from the tour, if you like, and I think she's found it a bit difficult at times this year in particular, and her form has certainly escaped her. But that's a very important thing to highlight. Do we live in a tennis world full of overrated coaches? Well, I just think, I don't know if the coaches are overrated or we're overrating their influence. If that there's subtle differences there, and I think that's the point. I think the coach can make a difference, no doubt about it. I think, Nadal's upturn after his sort of lull of 2015, 2016, bringing in Carlos Moya at the end of 2016, beginning of 2017, I think was helpful. I think also bringing in Lopez this year, and then he wins the Australian Open, maybe can have an effect. But ultimately, the effect is not as large as it is in other sports, such as American football, such as basketball, such as soccer or football or whatever you want to call it. Ask Emma, she's coachless now. Yeah, but she's had coaches as well. So she's coachless now, and she's had coaches. And she also had a coach that wasn't really a coach, if you like, a top-level coach, and she won the US Open with him. So, in fact, I think Emma Raducanu is probably the best example of this. Halep doesn't lack motivation. Tell us some Mouratoglou is a cheerleader now. Yep. Okay. Lendl's back with Murray. Yeah, and they can have a difference, but I still think that it's just not that big. Okay. Andy Murray wins those Grand Slams. Does he win as many with or without Lendl? Well, we'll never know. And you're probably right. It does. It makes a difference. It just doesn't make. If you had a football team with no coach and they were all managing themselves, it would be a shambles. A player can actually play tennis without a coach, if you like. There you go. Anyway, I think we've done enough on coaching. Krejcikova tested positive for COVID. Yeah, I saw that. I meant to mention it yesterday, but things got, elsewhere. Steph had an elbow procedure. Okay, thanks, Kathy. Yeah, it wasn't shoulder, it was elbow. Thank you. Okay. Tsitsipas tick. Let's move on. Not quite in crisis, Tsitsipas, but certainly not looking like the Tsitsipas of a year ago. But somebody who is in good form is Mr. Cilic. He won today. Hey, a nice little dance as well as he topples Martin Fucsovics there. 4-6, 6-4, 6-2, 6-3 in 2 hours and 54 minutes. A match of two halves, if you excuse the footballing pun, because basically the beginning of the match was Fucsovics. I mean, I think I saw that as being a tight one. I saw it being 4 or 5 tight sets, and it would be boom, boom, boom. And the first set and a half was following that. Fucsovics sort of nicked the first one, had chances midway through the second set to break Cilic, didn't break, and as we so often do, then lost his serve in the next one, and that was the turning point. Oh yes, everyone give me a like, please. Give this YouTube episode a like, and I will be much happier, and I'll sleep much better tonight. I'm talking about sleeping tonight, by the way. I think we all know what Martin Fucsovics sleeps in at night because he was wearing it on court today. Hey, he's got his PJs on there. Let me know what you thought about his outfit in the chat. And I'm going to come to the chat now anyway. Cilic feels like a kind and graceful person. Yeah, I agree. He's really likable. I quite like Fucsovics too, actually, despite the PJs. Yeah, and I like Cilic. I mean, he's won a slam, so great. Very opportunistic slam to a large extent, given the situation with Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer at that point, and injuries and players going out and loss of form. But there you go. You've got to be there to do it, and you've got to take advantage of it. And we've seen so many other players not take advantage of it, particularly amongst the golden generation of Tsitsipas and Zverev and the like. So, like Team did in 2020, boom, take advantage of that. Okay. Mr. Novak there saying, yes, his outfit was out there. Zabalenka doing okay, not giving me heart attacks. Yeah, she's smoothly going through, unlike in Australia where it was just constant heart attacks all the way until she eventually went out. She seems to have got over the yips regarding her double fault situation that she had earlier this year. Someone's saying, I want Herbie to go far. Yeah, well, we'll see. Sam H, I'm exhausted already. It's not even the second week, maybe because I'm not confident about Rafa making the finals. Yeah, I think my lack of confidence actually in a way is making me a bit more relaxed, strangely enough. Okay, Fucsovics, I love the hydrogen brand. Is that the name of the brand? Okay. I think that kit is designed to distract the opponent. Well, it probably did work for the first set and a half, but it didn't work after that. In fact, Fucsovics seemed to be a bit distracted by the footballing crowd nature, and if anything, that inspired Cilic more. It was quite difficult to work out who the crowd were backing in that match. First sort of seemed like Fucsovics had the most, but then come the end of it seemed like Cilic did. Oh yeah, and during the Tsitsipas match, when Tsitsipas broke in the fourth, because I think he goes a break up. In fact, he did go a break up in the fourth. People started leaving. I was like, whoa, this match is a long way from over yet. And there was a good 45, 50 more minutes to go because actually his opponent collar broke back and there was a lot of juices and stuff like that. And there was games, and then it went to the tie break, which went 9-7, of course. And as I say, collar, I don't know, it was a bit bizarre, all these people leaving. Maybe I guess they were probably going to nip over and watch Cornet if they had tickets for that on the main one. Talking of which, she managed to proceed. So she's now in the next round. So who knows how far she will get. Let me know if you think Cornet could be the person who will pose most difficulty to Swiatek. They're on the same half of the draw, of course, so there we go. Thoughts on Gilles Simon, terrific player, got his final win. Yeah, great, but no great thoughts, but amazing. Yeah, well done. It's fun to see someone like Keys. Oh, thank you. Yeah, got some French Open stuff there regarding today's results. Medvedev, I actually pretty much watched that. I was actually doing some DIY at the time. And actually, I thought Jair was going to cause him a few troubles, and he did. He broke the first game. And Jair is 2-love up. And you're thinking, oh, okay, this could be interesting. And then it was just a cruise after that. I didn't see Keys against Garcia. Let me know what you think about that. Garcia is one of these players, I think, that might end up being a sort of a Joe Conto, if you like, that it'll be a career of what ifs and what maybe could have been, because I think the talent has been there. I just not sure if she's got the nerves of steel that you need to go far. No thoughts on Simon, I'm afraid, against Johnson. Didn't see it. Cornet Ostapenko, I didn't see that one either. I'm sorry. I've managed to watch sort of 3 matches today, but I can't watch all matches I was having my eyes on the match between Tsitsipas, but it looked like a great match. And Ostapenko out. Let me know your thoughts. Badossa's through, but I think still doubts about the form. Swiatek we've already spoken about. Tsitsipas 2. Tiafoe out. Goffin through. Jean Air. Jean Air. Where's Jean when you need him? Anyway, Jean's through. Somebody probably had Jean in their bracket. I don't know. Let me know in the private chat if you want. There's all sorts. I think Ben, did he have Ostapenko losing to Cornet? I think he did. So he made sure that he told me to make sure he gets a mention there. We've already done Halep. Oh, by the way, Tiafoe Goffin. I caught the first set of that, but then I switched actually, or might be I was tuning in during the second set. I then switched to Cilic against Fucsovics. So I had a choice of which match to go for one. Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe this was the better one. Maybe this was more dramatic. But once Goffin got his groove, I always felt that he was going to win that one in the end. Del Bonis took a set off Rublev. You know, when we were previewing today, I was thinking about this, and this was probably the match that made me think most. So yesterday we were chatting, and it's like, what's happening tomorrow? And it's like, not much. Swiatek is always interesting in that she's playing so well, but we know she's going to win. And this match between Rublev and Del Bonis, in a nutshell, that's every second day of the French Open. I mean, you're getting some good matches, but the feeling is you go into, when I turn on the TV in the morning to begin the day, and I'm thinking, okay, there's no Alcaraz today, there's no Djokovic, there's no Nadal. On the women's side, it's a bit of a one-way thing at the moment, and I don't know. I had so much excitement about the women's game over the last 12 months, but because Ash Barty's retired, and also I find the clay court a bit more one-sided. I know last year that Swiatek didn't win the French Open, but I don't know what happened to her in that quarterfinal. This match, Del Bonis-Rublev, sums up every second day at the French Open. Why? Because it's a match that you go, okay, Rublev could go out. Rublev is not going to win the French Open. Rublev will go sort of quite far, probably make it to the second week, and then go out. And you won't think much of it. He'll then win probably an ATP 500 in the next few months. And at the end of the career, at the end of the year, he'll probably make the ATP finals on the back of winning a few ATP 500s. And you'll go, okay, yeah. And he'll go out in the group stage. And that'll be Andrei Rublev's 2022. It wouldn't be insane if everything I've just said is correct. That he doesn't win a Grand Slam. He doesn't get to a Grand Slam final. He wins a few more ATP 500s and has a fairly nondescript year, at least to the upper echelons of tennis, if you like. And Del Bonis, the other thing we know is Del Bonis could beat Andrei Rublev, but probably won't. Might take a set if he's lucky. Did that. And he's going to have a bizarre serve. And that match sums up every second day at the French Open because of this lopsidedness to the men's draw and the fact that the women's side, unfortunately, has got one player so far ahead of the rest. And don't get me wrong, I'm admiring that. But anyway, Naomi Osaka there, this is a nice little share thing. Some people talk about me so much I'm convinced they're getting paid. No way I'm on your mind that much, yikes. Don't know what that's referring to. Maybe it's a journalist, maybe it's somebody else that's annoyed her. But hopefully she's feeling okay. And I hope to see her at Wimbledon, but I have my doubts. I have my doubts about Wimbledon. Not just I'm not buying this exhibition stuff, by the way. I'm not buying it. I think people want to win Grand Slams. I think that's when you're at match point or championship point, and you're about to win a Grand Slam, whether it be your 21st, your 22nd, or your first, and you're bouncing that ball 40-15, 40-30, whatever, and you're nervous. Are you thinking, oh no, is it going to be 2,000 points or 1,000 points I'm going to get? Not at all. So don't give me this exhibition stuff. I'm not buying it. And if it's a player saying that, then I don't know what their motivations are. If it's a journalist or a fan saying that, I give it even less credence. Andy Murray, I follow golf closely and have no idea how many ranking points the winner. Yeah, right. Me and my friends love football, and none of us know. Right, exactly. I love football. I have no idea. Now, I know world rankings are a bit different in a team sport, but golf as well, as he says. I mean, listen, being world number one is amazing. And don't get me wrong, you want to have a good seeding. But that's what it is. It's all about being world number one, especially if you've got a chance, maybe breaking through a barrier such as a top 10 position or something like that, or breaking in the top 100, and also having an effect on your draws at upcoming tournaments. But that's the point. It's having an effect on your upcoming tournaments. You want to win those tournaments. And that's what you're thinking about. So, yeah, of course, you're going to be gutted if you did well at Wimbledon last year and you're going to lose those points or whatever. But ultimately, it's about winning tournaments and picking up the trophy. And that will be exactly the same. And I do expect one or two people to drop out of Wimbledon, but almost certainly not because of the points, but because of other circumstances. I've got my doubts about Rafa. He even gave an interview a couple of days ago, or even yesterday, I think it was, that added to my suspicions as to whether we see him at Wimbledon. But that's about health and fitness. If Rafa was 100% and flying, I'm sure we would see him at Wimbledon, but he might well protect himself and just concentrate on the upcoming North American hardcourt swing. Okay. Thank you for joining in. Have a good evening. Tune in tomorrow, or we're not sure when the Silk Report is coming, but it'll be coming again soon. Have fun. Sleep well. Have a great day. Ciao.
The Silk Report.